Good morning. It is Thursday, March 26th, around 10:50 a.m. And I've been getting a lot of questions about what's going on with the housing market, which is quite understandable. And there's a couple things I wanted to tell you that I've been learning that I think might help people feel a little bit better about what's going on. Because obviously there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. We've seen the stock market go down drastically. We know that most people are staying at home, and that leads to a lot of questions about, what does that mean for the housing market? Am I going to lose a ton of value in my house? Should I be buying a house right now? Should I be selling a house right now? So let me share with you some information that, once again, my amazing coaching company partners with another company called Keeping Current Matters. And Steve Harney is the head of that company. Their entire job is to... Please ignore the background noise. My cat is scratching in her cardboard box that she loves desperately. Steve Harney's entire job is to monitor what's going on in the real estate market and to look at what's going on in the economy so that he can explain to us how that's going to impact the real estate market so that we can be prepared to better help our clients. So last week on Thursday, we actually had a call with Steve Harney, and he talked through a bunch of really helpful information so that we could understand kind of what to expect from this, although there's no way to predict exactly how it's going to go. But the thought is that the very first most important thing is this shouldn't be like 2008. And I think that's where everyone's heads are going. But 2008, that crash was caused by the real estate market. That crash was caused because there were too many mortgages out there of people who couldn't actually pay their mortgage. And there was too much equity taken out of the housing market, and therefore we ended up with what happened. We're in a very, very different market right now. And now my cat's sniffing the phone, and those were her whiskers. So we are not expecting that to happen. We are thinking that this would be more like what happened after 9/11. And what's really important to know on that is that there was a recession at that time, and there is expected to be, a recession now. We are expecting to see a downturn in the GDP, gross domestic product, over the next 2 quarters. So it'll be a small one on Q1, given that we're at the end of Q1, and so it's just now being impacted. And then Q2 will likely be impacted. Just as a reminder, the definition of recession is a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP in 2 successive quarters. So right now you can see this is the chart that we're being given by Goldman Sachs. And they are expecting there to be a reduction in the GDP in the next 2 quarters, and then a sharp rebound in Q3. Now that's hoping we get everything under control and we can go back to life normal-ish in Q3, which, I think we're all very hopeful for. Given that we will likely be in a recession, the very important thing to understand then is that just because we're in a recession does not mean that housing prices go down. In fact, even though the stock market crashed after 9/11, we actually saw a rise in home prices during that same time. So there was a 45% correction in the S&P 500 after 9/11, and yet houses went up in price in 2001, 6.6%, in 2002, 8.5%. So we're not expecting to see a reduction in prices because we're expecting things to act more like that. And the reason for that is we still have a shortage of inventory. There still are more buyers than there are sellers. And as long as that happens, supply and demand, the laws of supply and demand say that prices can't go down. And there's also so much equity in people's houses that if they're hurting, which they're probably going to be, they could take equity out of their house as opposed to losing their house. On top of that, the federal government is suspending foreclosures. They're doing a lot of things that they didn't do in 2008 to protect homeowners so that we won't have another 2008. So Anyway, I have more data. I don't want to share it all at once because I know it's a bit overwhelming, but I wanted to give you guys that reassurance because I know when I heard it, it made me feel better. And if it can make, again, one person feel better during this, I want to share the information. If you have any questions, please send me a direct message, comment, let me know. I'm happy to clarify anything or answer any further questions. As always, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you are okay. If you need anything, let me know. And otherwise, just stay inside, stay safe, and take care of your family.